You see this all the time at the level of a top producer who, between them or separately, will make flop after flop after flop after flop. I'm not going to name them, but I know who they are.
So I guess almost every year or so, every couple of years, when you have a new DC movie coming out that is now by Zack Snyder or Christopher Nolan, stuff that is just trying to follow the MCU formula, because Warner Brothers still doesn't learn that DC is not Marvel and it's never gonna work. But that's just a topic for a different day. You already have the delusional fans coming out trying to make excuses for Supergirl. It is obviously a bad movie that the audience is not eating, and I just don't get it. I don't get why they don't see that. When it comes to Warner Brothers, they just don't understand the general audience. These fake DC fans online, they are not the general audience. They're not the regular audience that go to the movies. The ones that spend their hard-earned money, from working. So I don't know how long they're gonna keep losing millions and billions. We're just gonna keep going, repeating the same thing. But anyways, besides that, we are here to listen to this guy. I forget his name because he's just irrelevant. Already, had a beef with him a while back on Twitter. I think I even blocked him. Who knows? I don't even remember. But this guy right here works for DC. He literally works for DC. He literally works for Warner Brothers when it comes to making podcasts for DC and all that stuff. So if what you're about to listen here lets you know that this is how Warner Brothers thinks about the general audience, that's a problem. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this video for you guys, and we're gonna react to it together so you can see what I mean with all the crazy stuff that comes out of his mouth. So here we go.
Must. Millie Alcock's great. I'm really excited for girls to have a hero that actually has depth and nuance as the movie itself is based off one of my favorite modern comics. The bar is so high on what Woman of Tomorrow is, and this is the first review I've ever given where I said, like, hey, I think read the comic after. Like, in the history of me doing this, I've never said wait. That's because it's going to feel more like an extended cut if you read the comic after versus where is that scene every few minutes if you watch the movie after reading the comic. I do think the comic is a better experience, but I think the movie has merit that really can't be enjoyed in this climate. And that's been my struggle. Is I didn't think this was the greatest thing ever. I didn't think it was the worst thing ever, but it's a comic book movie, so one must. Millie Alcock's great. I'm really excited for girls to have a hero that actually has depth and nuance as a woman. I'm way more concerned with the women of tomorrow than them adapting Woman of Tomorrow. I've got the comic. If I want the comic, I want little girls to have a hero, and then the stupidest people were all like, there are female heroes. It was the 21st Marvel movie till we got a female-led superhero film. 21 movies in. I'm proud of DC for doing it their second movie, but of course it's going to have this kind of response. I'm also speaking to people that are going to see a girl that actually has something to say and actually has an experience and actually has trauma and actually has an eye line of connectivity while still being super. Sorry, I never related to a goddess from Paradise Island. I think she's awesome. I love that character. I think even that's a better movie. But I don't relate to Wonder Woman. I don't think if I have a daughter, she will at first. She'll be like, cool, a hero. Like she'll play Wonder Woman. But I think Supergirl's more relatable. I barely touched the internet this week, but it's so loud. I'm just pre-exhausted for women and girls getting movies that are okay when I want better for them. And so I feel automatically defensive of like, I want to have all of these things to praise. And so those are coming out louder, even though the movie I thought was okay.
All right, so this guy pretty much came out saying that he'd rather have his daughter go out and see Supergirl because Supergirl to him is more, they will have a better connection to the Supergirl movie and then the Wonder Woman movie from 2017. Supergirl in this movie, the one that just came out, the one that's literally failing at the box office because nobody's watching. She's a drunk in this film, in this movie. You have Supergirl drunk through the whole movie because she has some type of trauma, because of what happened with Krypton. I kind of get that part, but to come out and say for a child to have a connection, for your kids to have a connection with this movie about a character that's drunk through the whole movie, what are we even doing here? On top of that, you have all the weird stuff that James Gunn keeps putting in his films. Like the whole poop fetish he had with Peacemaker, saying that with about Superman in Peacemaker. Now you have Supergirl literally eating poop in the movie. Poop from an alien comes out. You have poop coming out of Alien, and then she goes sit down and eats it. It's just weird things like that that really makes you wonder all the weird stuff. Like, why do we have this? What's the point of this? But to come out and say that kids will have a better connection with this, a drunk character, than Wonder Woman 2017, when Wonder Woman 2017, it was a film that introduced Wonder Woman to a lot of kids, little girls, new audience, talking about a powerful God. But no, they will have a more connection. They will have a better connection with Supergirl. Anyways, this guy is full of crap, and I said that before. That's why I called him out before, and he kind of came at me. Blocked them a while back. But anyways, besides the story, we're gonna go ahead and talk about how Supergirl is failing. We also can't forget about this. This movie is failing in every type of way. Also with merchandise. I have been posting this stuff on X when it comes to first of all, when it comes to Superman 2025, you can find the full wave, the full collection of toys at Ross. It's a store that we have over here in Florida, which is a clearance store, pretty much. So if you guys don't know what that is, now you guys know, because these toys are not selling. They didn't sell last year, so you're finding the full wave, full collection at Ross. You also go to Walmart, you go to the clearance section, and you're gonna find the same thing, but not only with Superman 2025, but also with Supergirl, a movie that just came out. And even before the movie came out, there was already figures showing up on clearance at Walmart. So it just really shows you that even, I guess, Walmart knows this was not gonna sell. I guess Walmart knows the general audience more than what's going on here. The way you've seen how this video started with Christopher Lee talking about failing outward, this has been a Hollywood thing for centuries when it comes to these producers just throwing money away. It's kind of like that scene of Lego Batman, when he's trying to do he's trying to hit target, and he just tries, and then when he has that one hit, he says first try. But with this universe, it hasn't happened. Not even with the first try. Superman 2025 wasn't even the hit that they tried to make it seem that it was. Because if it was the real hit, like they're saying it was, then where are that audience in with Supergirl? Why is Supergirl failing so bad if that was the case? So this is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And now you have people all over Twitter and X, the fake fans, whatever, the so real, called DC fans. Now they're making excuses. Now they want to talk about how Rotten Tomato doesn't matter to them now. Now it doesn't matter. Besides that, now the box office doesn't matter. So if the reviews doesn't matter, which I'm with them on that, because Rotten Tomatoes at the end of the day is not gonna pay the bills. But the box office is the main thing. You got people that come together, to pay for these movies. They had to make some type of profit. You think these rich people are gonna want to throw away money and not make any type of profit back? That's not how it works. It's just something that we keep making excuses about. Oh, the Suicide Squad was released during COVID. We gotta stop making that excuse. There was all the movies that was released during COVID, like Doom was released during COVID. You had Godzilla vs. Kong was released during COVID. Those are two movies that I'm gonna name because those two movies were also released on HBO Max, just like the Suicide Squad, and they both made money. So why was it that the Suicide Squad didn't? You also had No Way Home. Obviously, that was a movie that was not from Warner Brothers, so it was not on HBO Max, but it made $1 billion during COVID. So I don't know how long we're gonna keep making excuses for this. The way I take this as a Snyder fan, it's a little odd, because it's just funny how all these, trades and news and the media now wants to act like nobody never supports movies, female superhero movies. But yet, Wonder Woman 2017 was a hit. It was a hit. It was a hit with the audience, and it was a hit at the box office. And mind you, that movie had a connection with Zack Snyder because he has his hand in it. That's when Zack Snyder was still around. He created the story. He helped with the story for Wonder Woman. Also, the stunt team that Zack Snyder uses for his movie, they also work for Wonder Woman. That's why you see the difference with Wonder Woman 84, because Zack Snyder was long gone and they got rid of his stunt team for some reason, which I don't know why would you get rid of them when they did such a great job with the first film. Wonder Woman 84 was kind of a movie that kind of even destroyed Patty Jenkins' career. Her listening to Jeff Johns, the one person that keeps trying to destroy careers behind the scenes, because yes, he's still at Warner Brothers. You just don't see his face no more because they're just hiding him, but he's still there. I can trust me. So yeah, I just don't know how much longer we're gonna do this. I was gonna wait for the final box office numbers, but there's no way in hell this movie's gonna have legs. You still got Toy Story on top. Literally Minions. A new Minions movie is gonna come out tomorrow. And this movie's already failing. So this weekend coming up, which is next weekend, Supergirl is done for. I don't even know at this point if this movie is gonna reach 200 million, to be honest with you. I'll be surprised maybe if it reaches 200 million. So at that point, we're talking about a 200 million plus loss. They're trying to make it seem now like it's only gonna be 80 million to 100 million loss. That's not how it works. You still got marketing. The marketing budget couldn't alone be like 100 million plus just to market this movie. You can't just do free marketing. It's just not how it works. You still got to promote movies. So again, this is a movie that's already failing in every type of way when it comes to merchandise, when it comes to the audience, when it really makes you think that this universe is not going anywhere. So yeah, that's why I'm here. I just wanted to make this quick video about this. I haven't done one in a while, but this is crazy to me. This is just something that has to be said because we are just tired of the BS. They keep making it seem like, yes, the DCU was a failure, but that was after Zack Snyder left. you know, that was because of Warner Brothers getting on the way. If you see the chart here, when Zack Snyder was around in the beginning, the DCU was making money. You see the drop, as you see on this picture. So I don't know how much longer we're gonna keep using the excuse, the weird hate we have for Zack Snyder. But at the end of the day, Zack Snyder was not the problem. Anyways, thank you everyone for watching my videos. Please make sure to subscribe. Thank you for supporting me. Don't forget to hit like and leave a comment. Let me know what you think about all this, because this is wild. But anyways, thank you everyone, and have a great one.